In this video, we will show you how to replace your rear window regulator with motor assembly on this Nissan Maxima. This will be located inside of your rear door. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. The first thing we need to do is make sure we have our window in the fully upright position to start. Now with that said, we're going to start by removing the area behind our inside door handle. You're going to find that there's a small trap door, and behind that, there's a mounting bolt. To dislodge this, I'm just using a small angled pick. I'm going to try to make my way underneath this area and pry it out of place. Gotta try to get under this. There we are. Let's try to get right underneath this little groove right here. With that pulled out of place, we can see our locking ears along the backside there. We'll set this aside. That exposes our 10mm headed mounting bolt directly in the center here. Let's remove that. Now we're making our way down along where the grab handle is. We're going to go ahead and remove this, but keep in mind that the window switch will be making its way up with that, and it does have a wiring harness. To dislodge this, I'm just using a plastic trim tool. Just make our way right underneath this area, gently separate it. Just has a couple locking tabs. There we are. Now we can go ahead and disconnect that window switch. It has a small locking tab where my thumb is. You just want to go ahead and press that in, and we should be able to pull this out of place. Quick inspection for corrosion from this area. These look fine. We'll set this aside. With that out of the way, on either side of the grab handle, you're going to find that you have a 10mm headed mounting bolt to remove. Let's go ahead and remove the pair. Get that next one. Now we're making our way all the way to the bottom of the door panel where our courtesy light is located. This has a wiring harness that leads to the back side of it, so I'm going to dislodge that so we can remove that wiring harness connector. Just use a small pocket screwdriver. We're going to make our way along where the lens and that door panel connect and gently pry it apart. Should pop right out of there. The electrical connector has a locking tab. We're going to press that in and we should be able to disconnect this fairly easily. Quick inspection. Those look good. In that same area, I'm going to continue on with my plastic trim tool. This time we're using the trim tool in between the panel here and the door itself. I want to use plastic so I don't scratch up the paint of the vehicle at all. Just going to try to find an area that I can make my way in between. There we are. Now this does have several push tabs that make their way around the door, so we're just trying to pull it out and away. But as for up along the top, we're going to have to gently lift it up a little bit. Keep in mind, we can't fully remove this yet because there are cables located behind it. Far side there. Let's have a look in between. Now I've got the door panel tilted a little bit here. We can see the back side where our inside door handle is. We're going to start dislodging each of the two cables. They're pretty much the same. For this, we just want to take hold of the white portion of the cable here and we're going to pull it out and away through this small groove. Once you have that pulled away, we can continue on to removing the center portion. That should just slide up and out of there. A quick inspection of the cable, confirming it's not damaged, broken in any way. This one looks fine. Let's repeat the process for the next one. Now we can set the door panel aside. Now we're going to have to remove the vapor barrier, but before we do, let's disconnect our speaker wire. Has a locking tab right here. Just go ahead and press that in. Pull that out of place. Quick inspection. Let's start removing that vapor barrier. For this, as you start pulling it away, you're going to find that it has an adhesive that holds it to the door. This is butyl tape and it can be extremely sticky and ruin your clothing, so just be extremely careful as you continue on removing this entire vapor barrier. A quick inspection of that and we'll set it aside. Continuing on from here, we're going to have to adjust the window regulator so we can gain access to the mounting hardware that holds the regulator to the window. To do that, let's go ahead and reattach our window switch. Press that in, listen for a click. Now I'm going to pause back here, make my way up to the ignition. We're going to put it in the on position. The vehicle does not have to be running, and then we can power this window down. Okay, so we've got that on. Let's start watching this. Of course, while we're functioning the window, we are not putting anything inside of the door where anything can get damaged or we can get hurt. Okay. So right down in this port right here, we can see one of our 10mm headed mounting bolts and the second one's located in this larger port. Of course, you can make your adjustments up and down as necessary. After turning off key power, we can make our way back into the door here and we'll start removing those two 10mm headed mounting bolts. Use a magnet here. Now continuing on, we're going to want to have some painter's tape, masking tape, call it what you want. We're going to carefully bring the window into the fully upright position and hold it there using several strips of this tape. This can be easiest if you have a second person helping you hold the window up as you continue. Start bringing this up here. Slide it up. Tape's a lot cheaper than glass, so we're going to use several strips here. Safety first. Now up along this area, you can see a wiring harness. This electrical connector leads to your window motor. Go ahead and squeeze in on the locking tab. We'll dislodge this. There we are. Now after we've disconnected that, if you are looking right along the same area, you're going to find that you have three 10mm headed mounting bolts holding this portion of the window regulator in place. Let's go ahead and remove all three of those, but keep in mind that you do also have two small hooks in this area right along here. For this, once we have the bolts out, we're going to reach along from the back side there. We should be able to take hold of the window motor. We'll lift it up and slide this out of place. You can see those hooks. Should be able to move this around a little bit here. Now there's really only three more mounting bolts holding this in place. We have one here, which we are going to loosen but leave in place so we can slide it out of position into this port when it comes time for removal. You'll have one just towards the side of it, and then make your way all the way down here. There's our last mounting bolt. One's nice and loose. At this point, the window regulator is clear to move out of here. We're going to take it and we'll start pulling it out of place. Bring it right out through this port down here. There it is, friend. Let's remove this last mounting bolt. Pull that right out of that window regulator. We're going to be using this on the new one. Let's install that corner bolt on the new regulator. Obviously, we're leaving this loose. Now let's start getting this in place. We're going to bring it in through the port on the door, and we'll try getting that mounting bolt up into its mounting point. It's getting close. There we are. Now we can pivot this as necessary to install our next two mounting bolts. Okay, I'm going to go for the upper one. Let's get that lower one in there now. And now we can snug them up. Now we're moving along to the next portion of the window regulator. This is the area that also has the window motor. For this, I'm reaching along on the inboard side of the door here. We're going to try to align each of those two hooks with their corresponding slots. Once you have that rested into place, those mounting bolt ports should be aligned as well. Go ahead and start in all of those mounting bolts and then snug them up. They're all started in. The next step is our electrical connector. Go ahead and line up the locking tab with the corresponding area. Press it in, listen for a click from that. Double check, make sure that's secured. Continuing on from here, we're going to have to adjust the window regulator to the point that we can reinstall our window. We need to install those two 10mm bolts. One's going to be through this port and the other one's right inside this big old area here. Go ahead and put the key in the on position and we'll be using our window switch. Once again, whenever you're powering the window up or down, never have anything inside of the door, especially your hands or anything the like. Looks like it's coming down into place here. You can see it right down there. Once you have that in proper placement, go ahead and turn off key power. At this point, we're going to prepare to lower the window down. Hold onto the window glass as you continue removing all of your tape. Now we can carefully start lowering this down till it meets up with the window regulator. Let's start lowering that window down into the proper position. Nice and slow. We can move this around as necessary. Just trying to get those mounting bolt ports aligned. Typically, once the window is seated all the way down, should be the right position. I'm just going to start in each of those two mounting bolts and then we can snug them up. This one I'm just going to use an extension. You can also reach inside the door if you had to try to guide that in. They're both started in. Let's go ahead and tighten them. Now we're going to test the functionality with the window installed onto the window regulator. Once again, make sure nothing's inside the door while you continue on. Key in the on position. Let's go ahead and power the window all the way up. I get no binding there, and now we'll bring it down. That's perfect. Go ahead and turn off key power and we'll continue on. After turning off key power, we're just going to disconnect that window switch again. Next, it's going to be time to install the vapor barrier. When doing so, there's going to be a few areas to pay attention to. We have 2 cables up along the top, 2 wiring harnesses down along this area, one for the speaker, one for the window switch, and all the way down at the bottom we have the one for the courtesy light. Let's start up along the top. As we start bringing this into position, we're going to slide the cables through the upper portion here. There's a small slot for that to fit through. We'll start bringing this over close to being in position, and we're going to lightly stick this on here. We don't need to fully apply it yet because we may have to move things around. We're continuing on over towards this side now. We have our 2 wiring harnesses that will fit through their corresponding slot. Let's go ahead and slide them right in there. Temporarily stick this on here as well. Down at the bottom, wiring harness for the courtesy light. Slide that right on through. Double check to make sure everything's through its corresponding slot, and then we'll continue on reapplying the entire vapor barrier by applying light pressure. Try to stick this into its original position. If there's any tears, you can use some tape to hold it together if necessary. Just double check, make sure that's properly secured before you continue on. Wiring harness for the door speaker. Let's get that lined up, press it in. Listen for a click, a light tug. Now it's time to prepare to install the door panel. Before we get this in position, there's a couple things that we'll point out. On the door panel itself, there should be several clips that make their way all the way around. Those will align with their corresponding slots. Before we can align those, though, there's a couple other things that we'll pay attention to. Up along the top of the door panel, you're going to find that you have this hooked area. That's going to slide up and over this area on the door itself, close to where the window is. Other than that, as we're bringing this over, the first thing we're going to do before we're latching it in is, of course, reattach our cables. We have our cables up along the top, and we also have a wiring harness down along the bottom for the courtesy light. We'll start with the courtesy light, make our way up here to the cables, and then we can continue on getting this in position. This just slides through that corresponding slot down on the bottom there. Now it's time for the 2 cables. This is the orientation that you want to have them in. We have the cable with the small ball at the tip there. That's going to be the lower cable, so I'm going to start with that first. We'll take that and we're going to slide it right into position inside that door handle. Continuing on, you should be able to roll it over to the side, and we're going to lock it into this area. Just go ahead and press it right in there, listen for a click. After an audible click, a light tug, it should not fall out of place. If it does, you need to make sure it sticks in there somehow. We'll continue on with the next cable. This one's just going to slide right into that door handle right up along here. And once again, we're pivoting it in. Now, continuing on with the door panel, we're going to come up nice and high so we can bring the hooked area up and above this. We're going to bring it in diagonally and press in along the bottom once everything's properly aligned. Just try to press it in. Now we're trying to align those push tabs that are part of the door panel with their corresponding ports. On some of them, you can look right through this area here and you can see that they are properly aligned. Typically, once you have some of them aligned, the rest should be as well. So once that's aligned, let's just go ahead and drive it in. A couple light taps making our way around. Let's get that courtesy light on there. Just going to line this up, press it in. Now we're going to roll this in. You're going to start with the inboard side here, right up along the top, and then we roll the bottom side down and in. Listen for a click, double check, make sure that's secured in place. Along each side of the grab handle, we have our 2 10mm headed mounting bolts. We're going to align these up. We'll press them right into position here, snug them up. Let's get the next one in there. Just reach in here. We're looking for the window switch wiring harness. Let's get that window switch over in position here. Line it up, press it in. Listen for a click, a light tug. Now along the bottom of this, you're going to find that you have several locking tabs. We need to align those with the corresponding slots on the door panel itself. You can see all those making their way around. Line it up, press it down. Behind the inside door handle, we have our 10mm headed mounting bolt. Well, that'll slide right into this port here. Start it in, snug it up, protect it with your cover. Now it's time for our protective cover. Along the back side, we have our locking tabs. Now this will have to roll into position. It has a small hooked area. That's going to slide into this area. So we'll come in at an angle and then press it in over here. Just go ahead and pull on that inside door handle. Start getting this in place. Like I said, we're starting over on this side. Lock it in over there. Okay, friend, we finished our installation. We've tested the functionality of the window regulator, but we also had the cables off along the back side of the inside door handle. You need to confirm everything functions as it should. Aside from that, thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.